Forbes just dropped their 2025 list of the most powerful females in sports. And who is posing nicely at number 4? Caitlin Clark, who is also the top ranked athlete on the list. Not simply any superstar making waves, but the woman who turned a season worth $8.1 million into an entirely new definition of what female athletes can earn. But here is what is really wild. Asa Wilson, who was awarded the number 15 spot, has had a reaction that has been absolutely unhinged. We are talking about a pattern of jealousy that started with Clark's Nike deal and has now reached a boiling point. The numbers do not lie, and neither do Wilson's public meltdowns. Let me ask you a question before we break it down. Why is a Wilson so envious, you say, of Caitlin Clark? Let me know in the remarks below. Let's discuss money. The typical rookie in the WNBA leaves with about $60,000 in their first year. Caitlin Clark took home $8.10 million. That is not an error. These numbers made seasoned players question everything they believed they knew: potential earnings in women's basketball. Her WNBA salary was pocket change compared to what took place outside of court. The league minimum for rookies sits around $64,000. Additionally, Clark made a meager base salary higher. But here is where things get wild. While other first-year players were calculating grocery budgets and splitting rent, Clark was sitting in boardrooms negotiating deals worth more than entire franchise valuations. The Nike contract set the tone for everything that came after. $8 for 8 years. $1 million guarantee. That deal alone put Clark in territory no WNBA player had ever touched. Most veterans in the league had never seen a single endorsement contract for a small sum of that much money. Clark secured generational wealth before her first professional season even started. But Nike was just the beginning. A call came from Gatorade next, and this partnership put Clark and company reserved for the absolute elite. We are talking about the same brand as Serena Williams and LeBron James Williams. No WNBA athlete had ever reached that level of corporate recognition. Gatorade does more than just give out partnerships to anyone. They invest in athletes who are able to move things and alter the culture. Wilson Sporting Goods added an additional layer to Clark's expanding empire. Not just any endorsement deal, but a collaboration that made her the face of basketballs and equipment across multiple sports retailers. The first support they had provided since Michael Jordan. Every time someone walks into a sporting goods store and sees Clark's face displayed on basketball screens, which is income directly into her accounts. Speaking engagements became another revenue stream that left other players speechless. Clark began by commanding fees for corporate appearances, events and conferences that exceeded what some WNBA players earn in entire seasons. Companies were not just paying for her basketball expertise. They were investing in her ability to draw crowds and spread word about their events. The actual is shown by the television numbers. Story behind Clark's ability to make money. Games featuring Clark saw viewership jump by 400% compared to typical WNBA broadcasts. The networks began bidding against each other. In addition to the rights to broadcast Fever games, advertisers gathered to purchase commercial time during Clark appearances. Revenue streams that had never existed in women's basketball suddenly became major profit centers. Stadium attendance followed the same pattern. Cities hosting Fever games saw ticket sales surge beyond anything they had been through. Sales of merchandise spiked where Clark played everywhere. Local businesses around arenas reported increased foot traffic on game days. Clark was doing more than just basketball. She was driving economic activity across whole cities and towns. Her social media presence directly contributed to marketing value that brands could not ignore. Millions of followers engaged with every post, creating advertising reach that traditional sports marketing rarely succeeds. Companies realized Clark had access to demographic information that had never shown interest in women's basketball before. Forbes' position as the top basketball earner made the gap in finances is crystal clear. Clark's the next closest is only $8.1 million. Player named Sabrina Ionu, who took home $6.3 million. That difference represents the premium brands were willing to pay for. Clark's unique combination of talent and marketability. Corporate America recognized what basketball fans already knew. Clark possessed something special that could not be taught or replicated. Her potential stretched far beyond what any player had ever achieved because she brought new audiences into the sport, while preserving respect for existing fans. The financial success proved female athletes could command serious money when they delivered the right combination of performance and personality. Clark did not just break earning records. She redefined what was possible for players in women's basketball in terms of commercial appeal and market value. Certain veterans watched these changes accompanied by escalating hostility, setting the stage for reactions that would reveal the true character of established players who felt their positions threatened. Wilson's resentment did not just appear overnight. This jealousy has been simmering for months, bubbling up through social media posts and interviews that demonstrate precisely how she feels about Clark's meteoric rise. The pattern started early and has only gotten worse as Clark's star has increased in brightness. The Nike Wilson's deal was announced. Composure first. While Clark was celebrating her historic contract, Wilson took to social media with posts pondering the reason why rookies were treatment that veterans had to earn over years. She never mentioned Clark by name, but the timing made her target obvious. Wilson started sharing old photos of herself with Nike executives, reminding everyone that she had brand relationships, too. That subtle campaign transformed into something much more apparent over the following weeks. Wilson published daily content about veteran accomplishments, newcomer expectations, as well as the significance of paying dues. Each post felt like a direct response to sports are dominated by Clark coverage. Headlines. Instagram stories by Wilson became a running commentary on media hype and attention that isn't due it. The I Have a Shoe 2 campaign became Wilson's most desperate attempt to reclaim the spotlight. She started posting photos of her Nike signature shoe from every angle, tagging Nike in stories about veteran loyalty and longtime partnerships. Wilson even began sharing throwback content from her shoe launch events, something she had never done consistently before Clark entered the picture. Time magazine's Athlete of the Year announcement pushed Wilson over another edge. Her congratulations post for Caitlin Clark lasted exactly one sentence, and it included no personal message or excitement. Compare that to the multi-paragraph celebrations that Wilson shared during the other players' win awards. Wilson's community. Her media history indicates that she typically all-out supporting fellow athletes, which resulted in her lackluster response to Clark's standout. The timing of Wilson's own shoe struggles made everything worse. Her Nike signature model was not moving units, while Clark's endorsements dominated sports business headlines. According to retail reports, Wilson's shoes sitting on shelves while anything connected to Clark sold out immediately. Wilson was unable to avoid the comparison between her established but unmoving position presence of the brand and Clark's market appeal. Speaking engagement. Jealousy became obvious when Wilson began posting about her appearance online. Fees for the first time ever. She started sharing corporate backstage photos, events, and mentioning speaking opportunities that appeared to be forced and out of place. Wilson had been doing corporate appearances for years without posting about them on social media. But Clark's high-profile speaking deals suddenly made Wilson want everyone to know about her bookings. Wilson's social media behavior shifted toward questioning Clark's actual impact on the sport. She posted statistics about veteran scoring records and a WNBA veteran viewership numbers, and established player contributions in ways that read like direct responses to Clark coverage. Wilson started using the phrase real impact and the word continued excellence in methods that appeared planned to diminish Clark's achievements. Her comments about media attention became increasingly pointed as the season progressed. Wilson started making small digs about hype versus substance and the importance of proving yourself over time. These were not general observations about the league. Wilson's Timing and word choices made clear she was reacting to Clark's incessant advancement in authority and success. The pattern reveals Wilson's core issue with Clark's rise. This has nothing to do basketball performance or team success. Wilson's ire centers around watching someone else become the face of women's basketball practically overnight. She spent years building her brand and establishing herself as a league cornerstone only to see Clark eclipse her relevance in months. Wilson's behavior shows a veteran player who cannot handle sharing the spotlight with someone more talented and marketable. Her passive-aggressive campaigns on social media, a sluggish public support, and pointed comments about hype reveal a player threatened by change and progress in her sport. The Forbes ranking announcement was made at that point. Wilson's jealousy broke out in the open view. All of those months of quiet undermining and social media campaigns culminated in reactions that exposed her true feelings about Clark's success and influence. Forbes does not play games when they rank the most powerful women in sports. Their methodology digs deep into real numbers that matter. They measure